Welcome to Boldman Bricks. This is the YouTube channel that loves to talk about the Lego investing hobby. I am the Boldman. And today we are going to fire up the Brick Matrix to talk about 4 Lego sets that are retiring at the end of 2025. Will these sets be winners or will they be losers? How should we consider these sets within a wider portfolio of Lego investments? The Matrix will tell all. Okay, let's fire up the Matrix. So here is the brick matrix. Now, it's worth saying that a matrix in this context is merely a simple combination of 2 rows and 2 columns. The 2 rows provide information on expected demand and are divided into high demand and low demand. The expected demand is often the inverse of the risk involved in investing in these sets. The high expected demand sets are likely low risk, as you can always offload them easily. The low expected demand sets will be a far higher risk, as it will be more difficult to find a buyer for these sets. The 2 columns show the hold time that I'm anticipating for the Lego sets, and these are divided into those sets that I won't expect to hold for long, the short flips, and those sets that I expect to hold on to for some time, the long holds. We will be reviewing 4 Lego sets today that are retiring soon and adding each of them to the quadrants of the brick matrix. To expand upon this, each quadrant of the brick matrix has its own label. We begin with the VIPs. These are the very important purchases. These sets should have high expected demand, even in the short term, so can be quick flipped to make a quick profit on investment. If you are looking for a short-term investment to make a quick profit, then these are the sets you should focus on. We then have the portfolio boosters. These are expected to have high demand and for that demand to remain over a longer period of time. If you are willing to hold on to these sets for the medium to long term, then you should see a very good return on your investment. Demand should remain high for these sets, which means that even if these sets are over hoarded by fellow Lego investors, you can still sell these sets after a longer hold for a very good profit. We then have the small steps. The small steps are sets that are expected to have a fairly low demand overall, but can still be flipped fairly quickly to make a decent profit. This could be due to a number of reasons, such as low supply or being a store exclusive, but these are the small steps to growing a wider Lego portfolio. Don't go too deep on these sets, but there is profit there. And finally, we have the long shots. These are sets with low demand that require a long hold. These are likely high risk, high reward sets in the sense that there will probably be a low supply of these sets on the secondary market, along with a proportionately low demand, as they might be specialist or niche sets, but the potential upside can be huge in terms of your return on investment. So let's begin by talking about our first VIP. This is set number 76920, the Ford Mustang Dark Horse from the Speed Champions range. This set has 344 pieces and retails for £20.99 in the UK and $26.99 in the US. Now, in recent years, Speed Champs have been an excellent investment where you can often double your money quickly. However, unfortunately, this has meant that a lot of Lego investors are now hoarding retiring Speed Champion sets, leading to a potential saturation of the secondary market. But in the case of the Ford Mustang Dark Horse, I still think that this is an excellent Lego investment for my personal portfolio, and I'm designating this set as our first ever VIP. There are many reasons for this, but I will list a few. Firstly, there have been many opportunities to acquire this set at a low buy-in price. Amazon have consistently discounted this set amongst other retailers, and you should be looking to pick up this set for a minimum of 30 to 40% off. Secondly, the set looks awesome, and it's an easy set to store. It doesn't take up too much room in your stores. The Ford Mustang looks amazing in blue and doesn't have a ton of stickers to apply, as other Speed Champions often have, which can become quite tiresome. Ford is a well-known brand with lots of fans. Speed Champions are not going away, and LEGO continue to release more of this theme, which maintains interest from the buying general public. The sales velocity of this set are consistently high online, and it is extremely unlikely that there will be any zombie stock of this set around after retirement. It's a great build, and if you achieved a decent discount on your buy-in price, you should have no issues in flipping this set fairly quickly in 2026 to achieve a very good ROI, possibly doubling your money or more. Let's move down to the lower left quadrant and talk about our first Small Steps set. This is set number 75392, the Star Wars Creative Play Droid Builder set, which has 1,186 pieces and retails for £89.99 in the UK and $99.99 in the US. Now, this set was heavily criticised upon release for being overly expensive, with an exclusive 20th anniversary Star Wars minifigure, which was not seen as something that would be of interest to collectors. Why? Well, the exclusive minifigure is young Leia from the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus show, which received lukewarm reviews at best. See what I did there? Luke Skywalker. Anyway, the fact is that baby Leia was not loved by all. The show itself certainly wasn't loved by all, and even the minifigure accessory, the small droid Lola, is completely out of scale, which looks odd. And even though the droids look fun to build, the accessories don't really add anything to the set. In fact, they make the set look far more kid-friendly, less interesting to adults, and so not being consistent with a very un-kid-friendly price point of £90 or $100. However, low interest from investors and from the general public in terms of sales velocity has potentially played into our hands. This set was also not widely available in most markets, being specific store exclusives. Now, I'm not expecting demand to be high for this set at any point, really, even after retirement. But there will be collectors of minifigs, Star Wars generally, and fans of droids who will want to add this set to their collections. Current sold prices on eBay for the young Leia minifig only are consistently hovering around the £50 mark, which is over 50% of the recommended retail price of this set. If you purchased this set for 40% off in the recent Lego.com sale in the UK, then you could do very well indeed with a short flip in early 2026 and a decent ROI. Incidentally, if you are buying from the LEGO website, please do use my Rakuten referral link in the description below to earn yourself a very nice discount on your first purchase from lego.com. Let's continue to move around the matrix in an anti-clockwise direction to meet our first long shot. This is set number 21342, the Insect Collection from the LEGO Ideas range. It has 1,111 pieces and retails for a price of £69.99 in the UK and £79.99 in the US. So long shots are sets that I often think are just staying under the radar of investors and indeed the general public. The Insect Collection has not been widely available in the UK, and there certainly hasn't been that much buzz about it generally. I'm not sure that there is a massive market for this set, so I've labelled it as low expected demand. However, the set looks beautiful. It also strikes me as a build that would sit really well with the Botanicals range. And the Botanicals range is an absolute cash cow for LEGO. It is one of those rare LEGO themes that seems to attract the general public, or muggles as I like to call them, into LEGO shops to make a purchase, or possibly they see a botanical set on the shelf of their local supermarket and decide to make an impulse purchase, and that's it. They are hooked on the theme and buy more botanicals. Botanicals have a consistently high velocity of sales, generally speaking, and this set, as a complementary set to the botanicals range, really interests me. It also looks amazing. Did I say that already? And I have no interest whatsoever personally in insects or bugs of any kind. In fact, I don't really like them. And that's what really gets my interest going from a Lego investing standpoint. When I love a set that I don't actually like from a personal collecting perspective, that gets my interest. But given that demand for this set specifically is likely to be low, given that it could be a niche set, it might need a longer hold to provide you with the return on investment that you are looking for, so just bear that in mind. And finally, we have our portfolio booster for today's brick matrix. This is set number 77072, Peely Bone from the Fortnite theme. It retails for $89.99 in the UK and $99.99 in the US. This is a really nice set with 1,414 pieces. And on the whole, I really like the Fortnite theme for investing. I think there is a huge market for Fortnite Lego sets, and the market is extremely diversified, from Fortnite fans to hardcore gamers to parents buying these sets for their kids. We saw the Fortnite Battle Bus spike massively in price when supply was exhausted around December of 2024, and I fully expect Peely Bone to increase nicely in price also. It's such a unique set, a fantastic build, and looks amazing on your shelf. However, it has been heavily discounted throughout recent months and normally can be found for 30 to 40% off as a minimum. It's also a set that I believe will be heavily hoarded by LEGO investors generally, which will mean that the supply will be there into retirement. Whether a lot of stock remains at retailers, such as Amazon, remains to be seen, but I am concerned that the constant sales and discounts on this set will mean that there will be a lot of other LEGO resellers looking to flip this set for a profit in early 2026. This should drive the price down in the short term, limiting your return on investment. However, if you are willing to be patient and adopt more of a long hold approach, I think this set will provide you with a really nice return. Wait for the supply to dry up and look to resell this set in maybe a year or two. Fortnite isn't going anywhere, and the kids that are playing the game now are going to get a little older and maybe have a bit more pocket money to spend, or maybe get a job or leave college, and they are going to want this set for nostalgia purposes. It just depends what your approach is. Are you willing to hold for a while? If so, I think you could do very well here. But remember, it is really important to manage your risk exposure. So you want to be buying this set at a significant discount to achieve a decent ROI. I think it's always worth considering what price the market could hold, even in the long term. How much would someone be willing to pay for this set? £100, £120, $150 more. Use that target selling price as a yardstick to judge what your maximum buy-in price should be to achieve the return on investment that you would like. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. I would be eternally grateful if you could like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comments if you agree with my placements in the brick matrix. Let me know if you enjoyed this video and if you would like to see more videos on Boldman Bricks. Subscribing costs nothing and will really help the channel to grow. Please also share with our fellow LEGO enthusiasts. Please could I also remind you of my Rakuten referral link in the description below. Rakuten is a free-to-use cashback site, and with one click, you could earn 11% cashback currently in the UK on the LEGO website. This really helps to drive down those buy-in prices. Also, if you use my referral link, then you can earn an additional £25 of cashback as I record if you make a purchase of £60 or over on the LEGO website, or £50 plus VAT if you like. Pesky VAT. And finally, the all-important disclaimer. I do this for fun. I am absolutely not a financial advisor, so please be aware that everything we talk about on this channel is purely for entertainment purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. It's always important to do your own research in such things or speak to an expert. Thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you soon.